Welcome to Spotlight. Welcome and thank you for joining us for another edition of Spotlight. It's a fantastic show where we dive into fascinating stories, visit incredible places, and meet amazing people. Join me as we embark on a journey filled with fun and adventure in this episode. Get ready for a lineup that will engage you from beginning to end. Let's go! Here's our fun fact section. There are four words in the English language that end in DOUS. Tremendous, horrendous, stupendous, hazardous. Let's learn about the delicious Otaheite apple.
Thousands of apple types exist worldwide, each with a distinct flavor, texture, and look. However, as new types are produced and some are unique to specific regions, it might be challenging to determine the precise number. The Apple Journal, an organization dedicated to cataloging apple varieties, lists over 7,500 types. Popular varieties include Fuji, Gala, Granny Smith, Honeycrisp, and many others. The diversity of apple types allows for various culinary uses and taste preferences. The Otaheite apple, or the Malay, Jamaican, or rose apple, is a tropical fruit tree from the Myrtaceae family. Its scientific name is Syzygium malacense. It is native to Southeast Asia, but is widely cultivated worldwide in tropical and subtropical regions. Some of the countries where you can find Otaheite apples include 1. Southeast Asia comprises the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. 2. South Asia, India, and Sri Lanka. 3. Central and South America. It is grown in Brazil, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. 4. Caribbean islands, comprising Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Jamaica. Due to its popularity as a fruit tree, the Otaheite apple is often grown in home gardens and orchards in these regions. In a tropical or subtropical climate, you may find Otaheite apples in local markets or orchards. Remember that regional names for the fruit may vary, so it's helpful to inquire about local names. The Otaheite apple tree typically reaches 10 to 20 meters, 33 to 66 feet, and has glossy dark green leaves. Its fruit is usually pear-shaped or oblong, with smooth, waxy skin ranging from pink to red or purple. The fruit's flesh is crisp, juicy, white, or slightly pink, and has a mild, sweet flavor. The Otaheite apple is enjoyed fresh as a snack or in fruit salads. It is also used in various culinary applications, including making jams, jellies, and beverages. Additionally, the tree is valued for its ornamental qualities, making it a popular choice for landscaping in tropical regions. The Otaheite apple is prized for its delicious fruit, eye-catching appearance, and capacity to thrive in various climates.
Can you guess? I am the beginning of everything and the end of everywhere. I am the beginning of eternity and the end of time and space. What am I? Here's a short story for you to enjoy.
Public transportation on Ramona's island included buses operated by the government and private vehicles owned and managed by individual citizens. Many of these buses were of a different model, and parts were hard to get, so the owners maintained and assembled these vehicles themselves so they could pass inspection and be roadworthy. When riding in the bus, everything shook, rattled, and vibrated so much that you felt as if something would fall off, causing the riders to spill out onto the road. Peak hour crowding was the most miserable part of taking the bus. It was always a fight to get on a bus in the mornings, when going to work, and in the evenings when going home. Imagine waking up after a refreshing sleep, showering, having a satisfying breakfast, and then walking to the bus stop to watch the crowded buses go by. The bus ride to work was about 2 hours long, and no one wanted to be late. Therefore, being on a bus as early as possible was imperative because it would only stop when someone had to get off. When it did stop, you would need to find some way to poke your body into the smallest space available before anyone else did. Many bodies were vying for that spot. So, by the time you got to work, you would be hot, sweaty, dusty, and ready for another shower. But the day had just begun. Going home was the same struggle, especially when you wanted to get home before it got dark because buses rarely ran on schedule. These buses had no air conditioning system. Therefore, the windows were often open, which caused the journey to be hot and dusty. Sitting by the window meant having all the exhaust from the vehicles outside and having dirt, dust, and debris from the road fly in and land on your face. But you were happy when you got a window seat. It was the elements outside the bus or standing close to other riders. Ramona remembered these bus situations on the island and was happy when she moved to America. No more crowded, sweaty buses, she thought. Taking the public bus in America for the first time, Ramona found that the air-conditioned buses had plenty of space to sit and ran on a schedule. Therefore, she could prepare for work at a specific time and expect the bus to be at the bus stop on time. Passengers did not stand on the bus because the seating was plentiful. While living in Irvington, New Jersey, Ramona's first snow experience took her back to the crowded buses on the island. It had snowed heavily that Sunday night. Salt trucks came by, cleared and salted the roads early that Monday morning, and Ramona got to work on time because the buses were on schedule. During the day, it snowed hard, leaving snowdrifts on sidewalks, yards, and rooftops. While at work, Ramona watched the news on television and could see the chaos due to the fresh snowfall, which had caused a multi-car pileup on the highway. It snowed again later that day, and the salt trucks could not keep up with salting the roads. At the end of her work shift, she headed to the bus stop, kicking the snow as she walked because she did not want to step into any holes and hurt herself. Ramona left work at 5 p.m., and the walk took approximately 20 minutes to get to the bus stop. On a regular day, this walk took about 7 minutes. Ramona got to the bus stop and waited and waited and waited, but no bus came, and the evening felt cold and windy. At 5 p.m., it was already dusk, and the night was coming fast. She checked her watch an hour later. It was already 6 p.m., but no bus was in sight. Ramona could feel the frigid wind blowing through her clothes. She had worn boots, thick socks, gloves, and a jacket with a hood that day, but the wind was biting. Attempting to keep warm, she paced the snow-covered ground and continued waiting for the bus with the gathering crowd. An hour later, at 7 p.m., there was still no bus, and she was freezing. Tucking her hands into each armpit, she thought about the warmth of waiting at the bus stop back on the island. A bus finally came around the corner at 7:15 p.m., and all at the bus stop gathered in front in anticipation of it stopping. The bus approached and zipped by them, and they all watched it go past. It was overcrowded, without any standing room. Shocked at seeing people standing on the bus, Ramona's mouth opened wide. "What is happening?" she thought. Ramona remembered the island bus situation she had left behind and knew that if she wanted to escape this cold, she would need to be on the next bus, crowded or not. Everyone at the bus stop sighed heavily and went back to trying to keep warm. Ramona wanted to cry because she was so cold, but she thought the tears would only freeze on her face. It was now 8 p.m., and another bus had just flown by without stopping to pick anyone up. 4 people waiting at the bus stop started walking in the direction the bus had gone because they lived close enough to walk, but Ramona did not live close enough, and it was too cold to try walking. The stores had already closed, and she could not try warming up in any of them. At 9:10 p.m., another bus came around the corner, and everyone waiting on the bus crowded to the front of the bus stop, hoping it would stop. They all stared at the bus as it approached, and it stopped, right in front of Ramona. The doors flung open, and the warmth from the bus captivated her. A small woman struggled to get out of the overcrowded bus while the driver yelled that there was no room and no one else could get on. Ramona ignored the driver's instructions because she was determined to get on this bus. As soon as the woman stepped off the bus, there was a big push from everyone behind Ramona, who was trying to get on. Wedging herself among the passengers' bodies, Ramona felt crushed, but did not mind because she was cold and determined to be home. Ramona reached past the person before her, grabbed the bus door, and, with all her might, pulled herself onto the bus past everyone. The bus driver yelled that he was closing the door, so everyone needed to get away from the bus doors. Ramona remembered her days of taking the bus on the island and poking herself between two bodies so the driver could close the door. She smiled to herself and did the same now. Passengers on the bus complained that she had no space and should not come in. Ramona told them she was already in and was not going back out. The door shut at this point, and the driver moved the bus. Immovable among unwashed bodies, Ramona allowed the warmth to engulf her. Her only concern at that moment was that no one passed gas in her vicinity, which would not be pleasant, given the proximity to the other passengers on the bus. The bus did not stop for 7 stops, and the disappointed faces of people waiting at these bus stops said it all. Eventually, the bus came to a stop, and quite a few passengers got off and freed up plenty of space. There were no seats, but it was less crowded than when Ramona got on. She had more room to move further into the bus, and 3 people came on. 2 more stops, and she would get off, finally get home, and crank up the heater. Ramona flew to sunny Miami 3 weeks later. Goodbye, snowy, cold, and chilly walks.
The answer to the riddle is the letter E. In our Hidden Gems section today, we will look at some beautiful sunrise and sunset. And that's a wrap for this episode of Spotlight. We hope you enjoy the journey. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep shining bright, and we'll see you in the next Spotlight.